The kingdom that escaped empire. Thailand border story. In the 19th century, Southeast Asia was disappearing from the map, not physically but politically. One by one, kingdoms fell under European control. Britain took Burma and Malaya. France expanded across Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. However, one nation remained independent. Thailand, known as the Siam, stood between two expanding empires and somehow survived. But survival came at a cost. To preserve its sovereignty, Siam surrendered vast territories, redrew its borders, and transformed itself into a modern state. Today, Thailand is often remembered as the only country in Southeast Asia never, never formally colonized by a European power. But that simple fact hides a much more complicated story. A story of diplomacy, compromise, territorial loss, and political survival. In this episode, Border History, we'll explore how Thailand's borders were shaped, how it escaped colonial rule, and why its unique experience continues to influence Southeast Asia today. Historical background. Long before modern Thailand existed, the region was home to a variety of kingdoms and cultures. Influences from India and China helped shape early societies, while trade connected the area to the wider world. By the 30th century, the kingdom of Sukhothai emerged. Many Thai historians consider it the first Thai kingdom. It established traditions of governance, language, and culture that would influence later generations. But it was the kingdom of Ayutthaya, founded in 1351, that transformed Siam into a major regional power. Located along important river systems, Ayutthaya became one of the wealthiest cities in Asia. Merchants arrived from China, Japan, India, Persia, and eventually, as we know, Europe. The kingdom grew rich from trade and expanded its influence across mainland Southeast Asia. However, Ayutthaya did not rule through clearly defined borders. Instead, it operated under what historians call the mandala system. Under this system, power radiated outward from the capital. The closer a region was to the center, the stronger royal authority became. Distant territories often governed themselves, while paying tribute to the king, which is pretty much unfair. This meant borders were fluid. Different kingdoms could claim influence over the same territory at the same time. Maps look very different from the neat political boundaries we recognize today. In 1967, Ayutthaya was destroyed during a Burmese invasion. Yet Siam recovered remarkably quickly. A new capital, was eventually established at Bangkok, and the Chakri dynasty came to power in 1982, a dynasty that still remains in Thailand today. By the early 19th century, Siam had rebuilt itself into a powerful kingdom, but a new challenge was approaching from overseas. Colonial pressure and the fight for survival. As European empires expanded across Asia, Southeast Asia became a battleground for colonial competition. As we know, Britain controlled India and gradually expanded Burma, nowadays Myanmar, and Malaya. France established control over Vietnam and later expanded into Cambodia and Laos. By the 1800s, Siam found itself trapped between two powerful colonial empires, Britain in the left and France in the right. Many countries facing similar circumstances were conquered. Siam's leaders understood the danger. One of the most important figures in Thai history emerged during this period. King Chulalongkorn, also known as Rama V. Recognizing that military resistance alone would not save the kingdom, Chulalongkorn pursued modernization. He reformed the government, expanded education, built railways, improved communication, and reorganized administration. His goal was simple, very simple. Convince European powers that Siam was a modern nation capable of governing itself, and also a great trade partner. At the same time, Siamese diplomats carefully balanced relations with both Britain and France. They negotiated treaties, made compromises, and avoided direct confrontation whenever possible. So, they tried diplomacy as their way to survive and fight against the Western powers. But diplomacy came with painful sacrifices. Now comes the territorial losses and the creation of modern borders. Although Siam avoided colonization, it did not emerge unchanged. France demanded territory east of Mekong River. In 1893, after a crisis between Siam and France, Siam was forced to surrender large areas that now form much of modern Laos. Further concessions followed. In 1907, Siam transferred additional territories to French-controlled Cambodia. Britain also demanded adjustments. In 1909, the Anglo-Siamese Treaty permanently altered the southern border. Siam transferred Kedah, Kelantan, Keris, and Terengganu to British control. Today, these territories are part of Malaysia. These agreements created many of the borders we recognize today. In a sense, modern Thailand was shaped not by military victories, but strategic compromises. The kingdom sacrificed territory in order to preserve its independence. This transformation also marked the end of the old mandala system. Flexible spheres of influence gave way to clearly defined national borders. So what they did is they just gave borders to the Western powers so that they could remain as a kingdom alone. Guess this compromise was unavoided since Western powers were pretty much forcing them to give away the territories. So it's understandable how they had to compromise. So move on. For the first time, Thailand began looking like a modern nation state at this point. Moving on to World War II and the Cold War. In the 20th century brought new challenges to Thailand. During World War II, Thailand aligned itself with Imperial Japan. The government hoped to recover territories that had previously been lost to Britain and France. For a brief period, Thailand regained some areas. However, after Japan's defeat, these territorial gains were reversed. The modern borders largely returned to their pre-war positions. Soon afterward, the Cold War transformed Southeast Asia. Thailand became one of the United States' closest allies in the region. American military bases were established across the country, supporting operations during the Vietnam War. Once again, Thailand's location placed it at the center of major global rivalries. The country's borders became important not only for national security, but also for international strategy. So, what happened to modern borders? Well, there are still modern border issues at this point. Although Thailand's borders are largely stable today, several disputes and challenges remain. One of the most famous involves the Prague Vihar Temple, located near the Cambodian border. For decades, Thailand and Cambodia disputed ownership of the area surrounding the temple. The disagreement occasionally escalated into military confrontations. To the west, instability in Myanmar has created waves of migration and refugee movements across the border. As we know, nowadays Myanmar has a military government. They had a coup d'etat in 2023, so that is leading to a territorial problem between Myanmar and Thailand. Thousands of people have crossed into Thailand seeking safety from conflict. In the south, cultural and religious differences continue to shape relations near the Malaysian border. These challenges demonstrate that borders are not simply lines on a map. They affect real communities, economies, and political decisions even nowadays. So, what is significant about these borders? Well, there are many global connections and significance. Thailand's border history matters for beyond Thailand itself. First, it offers a rare example of a nation that maintained its independence during the height of European imperialism. Second, Thailand occupies a strategic position at the heart of mainland Southeast Asia. Roads, railways, trade routes connect Thailand to Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, Malaysia, and beyond. Its economy serves as a bridge between different regions of Asia. Thailand has also become a major center for tourism, manufacturing, and regional diplomacy. As one of the founding members of ASEAN, it plays an important role in promoting cooperation among Southeast Asian nations. The country's success of demonstrating how geography, diplomacy, and adaptation can shape a nation's future. In conclusion, Thailand's borders tell a unique story. Unlike many nations, its borders were not primarily created by conquest or colonial rule. Instead, they emerged through negotiation, compromise, and careful diplomacy. The Kingdom of Siam survived the age of empire by adapting to a rapidly changing world. It surrendered territory, embraced modernization, and transformed itself into a modern state itself. Its borders remind us that survival is not always about winning every battle. It's not winning or losing. Sometimes, survival means understanding which sacrifice must be made protecting something greater. In this case, Thailand sacrifices its territory to actually protect its central government. I mean, if you lose your central government, then that's the end of the story. But if you make a compromise, there's still a small chance where it can still survive. And in Thailand's case, the greater goal was independence. Today, the borders of Thailand stand as a reminder of one of the most remarkable political achievements in Southeast Asian history, the ability to remain free while surrounded by empire. But Thailand's story is only one chapter in Southeast Asia's border history. Next time on Border History, we'll travel to another nation whose borders were shaped by empires, trade, and conflict. Join us as we continue exploring the lines that shaped our world. See you again!